Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I hope you're having a happy Monday. We've got some big news for you. Don't worry, comic books are fine. Comic books are fine. The mainstream media, the Motley Fool, is actually doing damage control.
The Motley Fool.
The Motley Fool is doing damage control for the comic book industry. They're here to assure you that even though there are way too many comic book movies and superhero fatigue is a thing, that we're not going to have another comic book bust like back in the 1990s.
Okay, so basically it's basically shilling for the movies.
Yeah, well, no, they're saying the comics are fine. It's all fine.
But I'm just like, okay, here's the thing. The Motley Fool is up Disney's ass. I'm going to point that out first of all.
Yes.
There's a couple people who write for them that just like, no matter what, it's all sunshine and kittens for Disney and always buy. And it's also funny because the Motley Fool also has been known to have 2 or 3 different writers that all spout different opinions. Like one says this, one says that, and they all have different things they say on the same given day.
Yes. Well, this is
cover all your bases, I guess.
This is written by the Daily Upside, which might be AI. Who knows? Who knows these days? Who knows these days? But we're gonna talk about that. Before we talk about the comic book industry, we are also going to announce the winner of the Gauman Art Tablet, the pen tablet display contest we had a couple of months ago. We had a lot of entries. A lot of people entered to win this tablet provided by Gauman, which we did a review on, and we're going to announce that winner. But before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 293,000 subs, actually. I think we're over that. Yes.
So close to 300.
Yeah, we're still here. We didn't get abducted by aliens or anything, so that's good. That's good. So let's announce the winner of the art tablet from Gauman, the PD156 Pro pen display. Now, here's how the winner was chosen. We did ask that people submit in a widget on our blog, which is run by a company called Rafflecopter, which you basically push a button and it randomly generates a winner. So just so you know, it was a completely blind drawing. That's how we did it, and that's out of the 3,700 entries that we got. The winner of the Gauman PD156 Pro pen display is Squid Mama, who I believe actually follows us.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, and I know that it will go to good use.
It will.
So thank you very much, Gauman, for providing that, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some more contests your way going forward. But let's talk about the comic book industry. So I saw this article, and I'm like, what is this all about? With great sales comes great instability. Can superheroes survive oversaturation? Because there's a lot of talk about people getting burnout on superhero movies.
Yes, and historically speaking, they could not survive oversaturation.
No. And what they're trying to do is be like, hey, we know that there's superhero fatigue, and other news outlets are talking about superhero fatigue. But don't worry, the comics are still selling really well, and everybody loves superheroes. They'll be fine.
So which company do you think was kissing their butt, Marvel or DC?
I think Marvel, because I don't know if Ant-Man's going to do as well as people think. Now, here's the weird thing. We saw the Flash trailer yesterday, and as much as we dunk on Ezra Miller, and I think Ezra Miller was the weakest part of the trailer, because of Batman, it's going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
We've
said it's going to make money.
Yeah.
I think people will go just because Ezra Miller, just because of the controversy,
Yeah.
But, I mean, it sucks because I really like Michael Keaton Batman, but I'm also like, I want to send a message. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But now, that being said, I don't know how Ant-Man's going to do. The reviews so far have been pretty mid on it, and Ant-Man was never really like an A-lister for Marvel anyway. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 looked pretty good, but that's going to be the last James Gunn, and now people are pissed off at James Gunn because of DC.
I'm just more of a poor Rocket.
Yeah, I think Rocket's going to bite it.
They better not kill Rocket. I will not watch the movie if Rocket dies. I'm telling you straight up.
So we'll have to have a website called Does the Raccoon Die?
I'll tell you what, if I'm serious, if I find out that Rocket's going to die in the movie, I'm not watching it. I refuse.
What about Groot 2? Because we already killed a Groot.
Well, yeah, but I mean, no, the Rocket, because he got the baby eyes and they did mean things to him. So I'm extra invested because the poor thing's suffered enough.
I know Rocket has suffered. Rocket deserves a happy ending with his girlfriend. That's
right. Raccoon lives matter.
So anyway, they're talking. Yeah, here it is. For the top 10 highest grossing films of all time are Marvel.
Oh, there it is. I told you, Disney's up their ass. It's ridiculous.
Yep. When the first Comic-Con took place in 2006, New York Comic-Con, it only attracted 33,000 fans, but by 2019, it shot up to 260,000.
I know when you were there, it was insane.
That was.
You couldn't even get to the bathroom.
I think the last time I went to New York Comic-Con was, 2013? Something like that.
So we're talking like 10 years later. It's insane. And it was bad then.
Yeah. So they're basically going through all the lulls in comic book sales. And this is, look, make no mistake, this has nothing to do with the comic books. The mainstream media doesn't care about the comic books. They only care about the movies. Mm-hmm. That's all they care about. And this is, I think, preemptive damage control in case some of these Marvel releases misfire.
Well, basically, the narrative out there has been people are burned out on superhero films. Then we had, other people coming out, oh, I don't, Kevin Feige, I don't think so. There's so many different stories to tell. I don't think they are. Other outlets, I saw the other day, I think Kevin Feige's right. People aren't burned out. Then this article comes out, oh, comics dip all the time. It's nothing to worry about. Honest. It's just, this is normal. They're not burned out. This is a normal thing. It happens all the time.
Yeah, cue the Leslie Nielsen meme. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. So they're talking about how in the 80s, comics kind of took a dip, and then they came, roaring back, or 70s and 80s, the direct market, and the Dark Knight and Watchmen, all that. Now, keep this in mind. We did a video about this the other day, and this is Deb Aoki who posted it for Europe Comics, talking about how Marvel and DC are near the bottom of the list in global sales.
And they acted so surprised. It's not like people like us have been pointing this out for years. Marvel and DC globally are behind webtoons. They're behind manga and manhwa publishers. Western comics are not doing fine. And, you can spin it however you want to spin it, but Western comic books, and we don't even know what the actual comic sales are because nobody's being forthcoming with it. And the thing is, it's but these half the characters, or more than half the characters, and the books aren't even the characters that people know and love that are in the films.
Yeah.
Like the one thing James Gunn said they were going to do was they were going to make the characters in the comics the same characters in the film, which is great, except for the fact we don't know what the hell they're going to do the films because they're getting rid of all the people like.
Yeah, right. So, does that mean, is it going to be Jonathan Kent in the movies? I don't know. Now, it's not. It's going to be Clark, but who knows what they're going to do to him. They're bringing up her. Yeah, right. So we get a Supergirl in the Flash. So they talk about the boom in the 90s. And so the 80s things weren't doing so good, but then all these really hot comics came out in the late 80s leading into the early 90s and things were great. But then there was a bust.
Yeah, there was.
Then there was a bust in the 90s because there was too much subpar stuff.
There's too much subpar stuff, and they're saying there's nothing to see here now. I mean, if the defining characteristic of a bust and people getting tired of it is too much subpar stuff, I would argue that we're set up for a big one right now.
Right. So they're talking about how Marvel was so desperate that they sold off the rights to some of their characters.
That they did.
They went bankrupt and all of that. But then wait, there's a better tomorrow because now they're making all kinds of money on the movies. So it's always darkest before the dawn. So here, a better.
But the movies have been dropping off. The amounts they're making on these superhero movies have gone down, 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 down.
Okay, so this is where the bullshit comes into play.
They shovel a lot of it over here.
Is superhero fatigue really setting in? The movies were easy enough to follow for a time. They got consumers interested in buying comics, but now Marvel has more than 30 films. Yeah, a study by Fandom, because they're reputable, found that 84% of Marvel fans agree there's too much content to keep up with.
There is too much content. Yeah, people I got through the first 10 years, I got through the arc, I'm done.
But the 40 seasons of CW's Arrowverse, oh my God, really 40 seasons, I guess there would be. Regardless of the oversaturation, superheroes are still in high demand, though. Along with its film and television counterparts, the comic book industry itself is booming. By 2021, North American comic book sales also reached more than $2 billion.
Yeah. But they break it down by superhero versus other types of comics because superhero comics and comics are not all superhero comics. Like we have manga, we have a bunch of comics that aren't related to superheroes, related to other franchises like The Walking Dead and stuff like that.
Yes.
They don't break that down. They're just glossing over that as one giant total.
Yeah, and beyond that, a lot of the superhero comics, if you want to count the Marvel and DC sales, are actually trade paperbacks of perennial favorites like The Dark Knight and Watchmen and Infinity War and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not the new comics. Oh, but wait, it gets better, though. It gets better, right? While the actual paper books are still the moneymakers, digital comics have popped in popularity in recent years too, reaching $170 million in sales in 2021. Hey, did I tell you that Amazon is shutting down Comixology?
I was going to say Comixology is in trouble. Yeah.
Things are great, guys. Artists aren't getting paid. Publishers are shutting down. Nobody knows how many comics are actually being sold. And you know what? This is intentional. The reason nobody knows how many comics are actually being sold now is so they can go back to this 2021 number and be like, look at the comics have never been better.
But beyond that, they're not breaking it down by what it is and where it's coming from. But beyond that, 170 million in sales as opposed to $2 billion is nothing big. Also, I want to point out that when they do these numbers, don't they just roll in all the crowdfunders and stuff too?
Yes.
And sometimes they're just digital.
Yes, crowdfunders get rolled into it. Digital comics get rolled into it. Anything that could even remotely be considered a comic book, like some of the Scholastic books, like Dogman gets rolled into it. And you know what I'm saying?
They're hybrids. They're not really comics.
All that stuff gets rolled into it, as well as the trade paperbacks, manga sales. What they're not telling you is the vast majority of the comic sales in 2021 and current year are manga sales. People are buying manga like crazy, and they're just rolling. They're probably even throwing Webtoon in there somehow, but it's not superhero comics. They're lying.
Okay. Well, the Motley Fool. Okay, fine. You want to prove this is true? Let's see you do a breakdown. What percentage of that is superhero as opposed to manga, Walking Dead, other franchises that aren't superhero? What parts of these are tied to the movies? Show us that, because I can tell you for a fact that a lot of the comic books they're using in Disney Plus and the movies have not sold well. They had to reboot. How many times Captain America?
Yes.
What else? Like, the new Ironheart and all that. They had to reboot them several times because they weren't selling.
Ms. Marvel.
They had
to reboot her multiple times because they knew they had the show coming and they wanted to make her a part of the MCU. It's like, damn it, we can't let this character fail.
And what about the books that aren't selling because they've changed the characters fundamentally from where they were, who they were, and they just, for no reason, they're suddenly replaced by other people, or they're, gender swapped or race swapped or, sexual orientation swapped for no damn good reason other than, look at us, checkbox, give us thumbs up.
Yeah.
Where's the breakdown? What percentage of that number is superhero specific comics? Because I guarantee you, if you start looking over the years at that percentage of that, you're going to see that is dropping while other things are taking its place.
Yes.
So this is misleading and it's bullshit. And you're obviously trying to paint a picture paid for by Marvel by the sounds of it.
That's what I think. The Motley Fool, we've called them out before. They are definitely, somebody over there is on Disney's payroll because they're always like, Disney stock's going to get better, guys.
Oh, that's that one guy especially. Yeah.
Better and better. Everything's great. I have to disclose, I've got lots of Disney stock and I go to the parks all the time.
This last sentence is insulting though. Despite America's nostalgia for a decade, the Connors, Fanny Packs, Brandon Fraser, I'm like, wow, eat shit. Because the Brandon Fraser thing pisses me off because the reason he fell out of the public eye was because he was injured so bad and he was like messed up from all the films he did with the Mummy. He also was sexually harassed and then kind of like blackballed because he called it out, because don't you know, men never get sexually harassed, it's only for women. And you're going to lump him in there with nostalgia for the decade.
And the Connors is insulting because Roseanne's not even on her own show anymore. I mean, so it's like, what the hell? This is such bullshit. A comics crash appears to be one phenomenon stuck safely in the 90s.
It is not.
Bullshit.
Everybody's calling it out, which is why all you guys are doubling down on this. Oh,
yes.
It's fine here. Nothing to see here. Here's a bunch of numbers. By this chart, you can see that everything's fine. But I'm not going to tell you that superhero comic sales have dropped off a cliff and it's being replaced by other stuff. Comics are fine here if you don't look into it any further than what they say.
Absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to see more articles like this. And again, nobody can get a beat on actual sales numbers of floppies now, not even the comic book journos, quote unquote. And this is all damage control.
Because even the comic journos are starting to admit that there's a problem.
There's a problem. People aren't getting paid, guys. Books are getting canceled. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Shops are shutting down.
People aren't going to believe this shit. They're too little too late. Like even the journal, the comic book specific journals are saying, yeah, there's a problem.
Yes.
So you're a little bit late here Motley Fool.
Oh my God.
So you look like an idiot.
Well, they're fools.
A fool.
They're fools. So we're going to wrap this up.
Maybe the whole thing's a joke because they're like a court jester.
There you go. They're a jester.
Maybe it's a joke.
This is a parody. This is like
the
the
website.
Onion. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.